Well, I'm back. I'm resting. I've been really down for a couple days due to they done something with my face and my neck again. They're adding insult and injury and more to the injuries. My body, they went in through my navel. My navel it's bleeding inside, and it is very hurt. It's pulled over to the right, as you can see. My stomach is pulled this way. They've got my navel lifted up, and it's sealed inside my body. They've also got it sealed here. It's cauterized. It won't go down. They've lifted my whole body. They turned me upside down like a deer, like you skin a deer. And they put these illegal, non-FDA approved torture devices inside my body. They usually will put it in between the bone tissue and the muscle, the skin and the muscle, or in between the joints, like a hydraulic lift. It separates, and they record the noises and stuff that it makes, the torture. It's all on the same network, the satellites that the oil companies are on, the Middle Easterns use, and you can probably find the people that are streaming it and that have all this proof. But they added a few pounds to me. It my whole chest has been, if you look here, you see all this. It's fused. That skin will. They've lifted all this up. It's fused. It lifts up, but it won't go back down. I mean, it's like stuck. The skin flow won't go back down. Gravity is holding it there. But when they lift you upside down, all your skin falls up to your head, and they will cauterize it, fuse it, and what it does is when you stand back up, the skin flow won't go back down. They've either hijacked the elastin collagen, that's between your skin and your muscle, that helps your skin move. It's pliable, moves up and down, sideways, and all over your. Well, once they get into your body and start cauterizing skin tissue layers, it won't move like that anymore. It's pretty much lifted up and it's sealed. It's cauterized, fused, the other tissues. They take the tissues out, they'll fuse something else. Sometimes they even they make you sick. My gut has finally went down. It was about up here, my belly button, where I tell you inside where it's bleeding, and leaking fluid. The first time it did that was in California. Oh my God. And in California, they had, during my whole life being racketeered in the sex industry and being trafficked in sex slavery, the porn industry will leave they're these balloons that you can fill up and deflate inside your body. They leave them in your buttocks, your breast, and your skull. They can reshape you at any size in any way that they need you. They can do your legs, your arms, anything. They can make you look fat, muscular. But what it does is it rips and tears away at the fabric of your skin. It weakens you. It causes internal damage, a lot of scar tissue, if you were to take my skin off of my body right now and look underneath my skin where they hide all the damage, you'd probably be extremely amazed that I'm even upright and walking around right now, because of all the damage that Danny and Kathy, the Colombians, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, and the Middle Easterns and the Germans have, and Donna and them have been doing to my body. They've been taking turns. They've been taking turns mutilating me, practicing war crime, murder technique, snuff, electrolysis. They hook these little devices up to the creases of your skin and make your skin jump around like a freaking dead frog. Like a frog does when you electrocute it and makes its muscle move around. It's called galvanizing or something like that. If you wake up and you smell like this smell in your body for 2 or 3 days, you don't know where it's coming from, you've probably been chloroformed, nitrous, or some type of anesthesia in your body. If you try to eat and when you're sitting up and you feel the whole top of your body expanding, your internal tissues and organs have been gassed. The Germans have been doing that for the Middle Easterns on Jewish and rich people for a very, very long time. Middle Easterns won't do it themselves because they already know what's going to happen to the Germans and the Spanish for doing it, because they're the ones that are going to kill them. I'm almost pretty sure that they're trying to actually genocide the world. So, and this isn't a lie. They've got Colombia, everything from Colombia is counterfeit. Nothing that comes out of Colombia or that's connected to a Colombian or a Middle Eastern here in this country that's involved is legit. It's all counterfeit. All their documents and papers are stored in Colombia. They travel the world collecting documents, and they hold on to it. Their families hold on to them for years, sometimes even 100 years. I mean, they literally started thinking of committing crimes hundreds of years ago, and they saved these documents just for big, human harvesting, trafficking, stuff like that. And they do help the Middle Easterns get in and out of the country that you guys are trying to fight against. Okay, when we went to war and you guys were looking for these weapons, and you sent all our people over there. Well, they just wanted to watch our people get exploded and lose their limbs and waste our money. The actual weapons you're looking for are hidden here in America because this is the country that they're going to blow up. This is the country that they want to get rid of, and this is the country that they've decided that since you don't give any hoots about a human life, and they've tested this country over and over. They've tested this country to see what you would do to my great-grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather, me and my mother, and my children. And so far, you guys just go around bragging that you're assassinating us, that you're gassing us, that you're drugging us, that you're ripping and pulling us apart. Look at my body. They have turned me into looking like an old lady, and I'm barely 40. I was born probably in the 80s, early 80s. I'm here on documents that come from 1970, the year the RICO Act came involved. They designed my name and my whole entire birth date around their crimes that they decided that they were going to take out on me because I was a pretty rich white girl born into freedom, and they were holding my family hostage here. And, they didn't know how to, they weren't supposed to hurt me. It was a test. After Susan and Jennifer and Kathy and all them started ripping my mom's body apart and having the Middle Eastern and, Dr. Graves, Dr. Timms, Dr. Holly, Dr. P.K. Garg, any doctor that you can find from the time that it's saying that my mom, under her documents that they have her here, they use those documents to anchor her here. They changed the dates of our birth and everything like that to make it look like I was born here. I am not even legally a United States citizen. In the United States of America, the cops, your judges, I was illegally adopted. I was smuggled into the country. I've reported it. I've reported it to everyone. So anybody that knows this, he knows that I'm being held here, anybody that sees this video, you know, even through the YouTube people that, hey, I am being slaughtered out here and I'm being hurt real bad. And I'm being defamed by the Middle Easterns, the oil companies. And you guys all know the names now, so don't worry, they'll come after you too. That's why I'm putting their names out there. I want everybody to know, because I don't give a fuck about them. They've done nothing but hurt people. They hurt children, and then they try to make it look like other people do it. You know, they got fucking niggers all over Florida, spics, gooks, crackers, all kinds of people that they like to use that they're gonna off because they hate those kind of people. Middle Easterns are race haters, and they like to make everyone down there hurt each other. Rayla, Jackie, Carrie, Sean, he's an Iranian mix. Sean, basically, he has to keep himself doped up and drugged and keep himself like a lowlife, because Jerry Dickinson, the pedophile, you know, guy that's not all upstairs, he's been touched because of his mom was hired as a child prostitute by Jack, and he used to dope her up with heroin to keep her coming back, and it fucked him up when he was inside her womb, and he was born completely and utterly sick and retarded. And I mean, we're talking about heroin that's not the kind today, but the kind they had back then. You know, because he is an old man. Jerry's an old man with human harvested body parts of people that they murder and take their body parts. And if you don't stay still, so that they can take them, they will hurt you in a way where you can't walk. So they're contracting people out. They will have you falsely arrested. I've been falsely arrested twice. I've got 2 felonies on my record that the Iranian guy Jack and George and them put out on me. And Susan Knoll, she works in the court system, and the cops and stuff, they were already being educated when I was a child. They knew that they were going to attack me when I reached my American documents that I have on me here. And you should be able to find my documents of me being here. I'm trying to let you see how they've disfigured me. Right here in the middle, I would pull it up, but it's illegal to show you that kind of stuff. But as you can see, they have got everything pulled up on my chest. And right here is like a triangle that's fused. It's like it's pulled up and it's fused. It looks like I've been wearing an underwire bra, and it's cauterized. They stuck balloons in through my nipple ring right here, and there is a little hole right here they keep going in through, and my navel. They've been going in there, and these balloons, they'll stick them under your arms, on your back, on your neck, and it blows your skin up so bad that your body goes into cardiac arrest. After your body goes into cardiac arrest and you snuff out, they will usually bring you back, and your whole chest will hurt for like a week. They also have a way to snuff people out now that doesn't leave marks. Listen. They just take your skin and they pull it down and cut off the oxygen. And they just hold it there until you snuff out. Your body starts jerking around, they film it, they make money, and then they bring you back to life. And you end up laying out here like I am in a tent with people looking and staring at you that have watched the videos, and probably cops that are watching them, and they don't care. I'm in Russellville, Arkansas, and I have reported this. I've reported in Florida, I've reported it in Casper, Wyoming. I've reported in Montana. One of the doctors in Billings Hospital, I went to try to get an exam from, he was the one that did the surgeries on me. And when I seen that, I immediately wanted to leave the hospital, but they forced me to get a flu shot. And he kept saying, well, I would suggest that you go in a mental institution. When I tried to report it to Florida, Live Oak, Florida, they stuck me in the Meridian, a mental institution. When I tried to report it in Florida over and over and over, you can see my records of it's a racketeering record. And if you follow my mental health records, each one of those doctors racketeered off of me. Each cop helped them racketeer off of me. And it all leads back to Jack and George, because they had my mom committed into a mental facility when she was a child. And they tortured her in there. They gave her electroshock therapy. They tortured her and put her on so many drugs until she signed away and said that she wasn't who she was. She signed her grandparents' will, and then once it got into their hands, they came over here on visas and documents saying that they were my family. And that's when we were all separated, and they threw me to the Red Cross. My grandpa had to find me. He had to come save me because, Susan and all them tried to get me lost in the Red Cross. I mean, at least they didn't. I had already been stuck in the gashing chambers, but they tried to get me off to in London, I think it was, maybe. And then they forced my grandpa to stay. They mutilated Juanita. Juanita was an arranged marriage that he had to stay in order to keep his wife alive. And that wife stayed with George. And George held her over there while he experimenting on war crime and murder techniques that would stay under the radar, which is gassing, aging someone, the ballooning effects, injecting wax into your arteries. I still have the scar tissue to that. They injected into my left artery in the pit of my leg. And my blood stains like an olive green to a black now. And when you try to rinse it out, it will not come out of fabric. My blood used to wash out like that, when it would get on anything. Now it stains an olive green to just a really odd, it looks like a oil, like you try to get oil out of your clothes and it won't come out after you wash it. And that started happening after they injected my body with some kind of yellow fluid. There's a yellow fluid that's being smuggled into this country through the military. They're smuggling it in on their ships, and it's coming from the Middle East. And it's some kind of a byproduct that they can't sell or get rid of or even bury in the ground because it's toxic, that they're slowly releasing into human beings' bodies. It affects our bones. It causes carbon dating not to be properly identified on the bones. That's how bad it affects our bones. And the bones usually turn like they petrify. Is what they do. The anus and stuff that they use these sandblasters, and they stick these sandblasters up into like your urethra, your vagina, your anus, any hole that you got inside your body. They basically tamper with from the time you're a fetus all the way to your death. And it's murder. I'm reporting murder, and this is what they're doing to me. I know that they are not allowed to persecute me in this country, and I'm being persecuted. I know that they are not allowed to commit these crimes on me, and I know that my body is being tampered with because I'm evidence. And there's a lot of other things out there that are evidence, and they are tampering with all of it. And they work in the systems that they're tampering with. A lot of these people that have been doing this to my life they work for the terrorists, and they work for war crime agencies and groups that go from country to country practicing and committing war crimes under the radar to genocide people. And they do extensive surgeries, and I'm one of the victims that they have taken from to do some of those surgeries. Right now I'm being used as scraps and leftovers. The trash out in Florida that have been contracting us out, they have their name all over the place out here of what they are. So it's like Brandon, Lee's, Coram, all kinds of shit. And fortunately, my mom, I will admit this, my mom was completely mutilated. They disfigured my mom to where she was beyond recognizable. They took her hair and sold it. Because Bosley, sometimes they need hair from other people so they can upgrade their, they can do good work for their customers that can pay. And, we get drugged, and it's our hair they use. And we don't get any money for it. We get to walk around bald-headed. I've got other people's armpit hair and pubic hair, and they swap. They can completely turn a redhead into a brunette by just swapping and transplanting the hair, and they do that. They just keep their hair dyed one color while they're doing it. And they've been doing eye transplants. These aren't my actual eyes I was born with. These are someone else's, and I never had to wear glasses. After they did this to my eyes in California, they left trash behind my retina. They've left dust and like little lint floating around in my eyes, and they have damaged parts of my eyes. I've never had a stigma or whatever, but I do know people that have been buying me and swapping out body parts that has stigmas in their eyes, and now I ended up with an eye like that. They have put a ring around my eye. That's not an actual ring that belongs to me. It's just for people to know, look, we swapped that eyeball. That's how they do. They'll put a ring around it. Most of my cartilage on my nose is, you can see, they took a lot of that. I don't know if you can see in there, but half my teeth are filed off, and the roof of my mouth is raised up pretty high. I stay weak and tired. I've been trying to report the racketeering and the RICO and the false charges and the people making up lies to get, people in trouble. The fake videos. These people can take a VHS tape that they find, and somehow they're adding their faces to the old VHS tapes and then playing them off as it's them. I've seen 2 tapes that the mafia has made that way, probably of families they've killed. is the only thing that I can think of. Because I know Jessica and them in Oregon, they have to kill people to hide under false documents. And if they have women and children trafficked out there, they'll usually kill the mom so that they can keep the kid if the kid's attached to any money. And I have a baby and a son that's over there that is attached to a lot of money, and he might not even be my real son. I mean, that there is a, you know, because the Middle Easterns are sick. They'll take your little boys and replace it with someone else's. That way they can take and turn it into a girl and sex slave it, because they do like to do that to people's lives that they kidnap and hold hostage. It's a way that they can dominate a richer, better bloodlines, I guess. People that are born wealthy, people that actually earned their wealth and didn't kill anyone for it. Those type of people, they like to rape them to death, sexually dominate them. Right now they're doing it to the Philippines, Colombia, because their parents will let them have sex with their kids for money. And they'll leave one of the twins here, they'll go off and they'll have sex with the kid, and they'll come back and swap in and out. And they do that so that they can be educated out there and have one of them living here, so it doesn't look like they ever left, like they've just had one life here, you know. But yeah, and they let their children, when they're young, start helping murder people's bodies. Because I know when I was at Gary's, those children over there were completely hands-on involved in mutilating and disfiguring my life and my body. That's how they learn their surgical procedures, and they learn them very young. So they're being sexed, they're being taught to murder, and they're being educated completely around the whole entire country while they're swapping with their twin and being surgically altered and gassed. These kids are exposed to gases and stuff. That's why they don't get to live that long. Because when you're exposed to that much chemicals, just to be used to try to mislead people for money and to come in and out of the country working for terrorists, you basically, you get your life taken. And you get shortchanged, because Middle Eastern don't give a fuck. You're usually mixed with a race that they're just using and they want to hurt. Oh yeah, my kneecaps. Here's some more. You can see where they've extended my ribs. They've completely taken my breast out and fused them down here. This is all surgical. This is called vesting. This is my new vest. This is what the mafia turned me into. All this. My shoulder blades were popped out. They weren't just popped out. They were popped out and turned and then popped back in. The shoulder blades back here don't sit properly or move. The muscle had been pulled up and over to create this, and the balloon that stretched it out. And that's just one. And they move like this meat here forward and then down. That way it gives the vest gives it an elderly look, along with this. That's fused too. You know, they keep going in here. This is how they're getting to my neck spine and all the tendons and all my tissues and stuff, and my arms and everything is through there. The rest of my spine and guts and stuff, they're going in through here. This has been lifted. All this under here, where I can't take it down, it's sealed. You can tell that it has been cauterized. It's completely surgically altered to look like I'm wearing a diaper, a skin diaper. They have put so much pubic hair all over me that I have probably the biggest bush in America right now. That's sewn into my anus. So, and it's turned into one big line. It goes from vagina lip into no butt cheek. They took that out and put it up here. Most of my butt cheek is up here from down here. And anybody would be able to tell what they've done to my anus and the little pucker part. The rest of the mutilization and the inhumane war crimes basically are fusions on my back. The whole lower part down on my spine, my tailbone, it's completely been broke. They would put me in the bathtub unconscious, and they would have the maids and stuff in the hotels fill it up with water after they were done letting all the men squirt and put stuff up inside of me for their illegal videos that they make for private audiences and fetishes that are totally illegal and inhumane, and some very, very extremely illicit and violent and bloody. And there's a word for the poop and the blood and everything that it causes, that your body excretes from the torture and they lay you in and stuff. But oh my God, it's terrible. They do stream this and they don't get rid of it, but they do replace our face. They cover this stuff up with other people that are making the money with their skin. So while we're being raped and flopped and mutilated around, somebody else's face is on there so that you can't recognize who we are. You know, so we get disfigured, our noses get redone, our lips, our necks and stuff. I mean, this is exactly Brenda, Gary, Donna, Marilyn. These females should not be allowed to be left alive. They hurt children. They contract hits out on children. They completely and utterly ruin and hurt children's health. They've been injecting other people's fat into children to cause them health problems in Florida. They disfigure them. They take their tissues out of their bodies and they fuse their skin. They take their hair, and they do this to children. And then they wait until they get, until they look like they're an adult, because they've been so mutilated and just, surgically altered. People think they're an adult now, because when I was growing up, I was one years old being passed off for a 3 or 4 year old being put in school. I could walk, but I couldn't talk or anything like that. And from all the sex slavery and stuff, I was always put in the corner masturbating in class. First grade in Kirkland Elementary, black boys, you were allowed to, fondle each other in school. Black girls were allowed to come up and smack you around. You didn't have to do any work in school. You just had to show up on certain days. And we didn't show up a lot. Most of our records are doctored up, our school records, because we didn't go to school a lot.